Good morning, yogis. Happy Tuesday, I think. Tuesday morning, Vinyasa, 7 a.m. Good morning, anybody joining me live. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good night, or whatever it is to anyone joining me after. What's going on? We've got a lot of stuff going on. Ways to support the studio. One, hanging out here with us, taking these live classes is awesome. We also do have that YouTube channel still up, and there are a few, one of each style, I believe, really nice professionally shot videos that are up there. If you want to check out and subscribe to the Beautiful Hot Yoga YouTube video. We also have, if you are in need of any, home practice items, such as blocks and stuff like that, we still have that deal going with manduka.com, where they are giving us like 25% of what they take in when you use our code SHOPLOCAL. And if you need any clothing or any kind of fun yoga stuff or whatever, we have, there's on the Beautiful Hot Yoga website, there's a way that you can buy products from us. We've got that really nice buttery soft glider stuff that is perfect for your at-home practice or lounging around all day, waiting for your at-home practice to start. So anyways, as I said, my name's Amanda. You can find me at the North Studio teaching. You can find me at the South Hill location taking class. At least you will someday, one day, hopefully. I miss all of you desperately, and I miss the hot room so much. So, having said that, let's waste no more time, and let's get started in Shavasana. We're rolling out on our backs in Shavasana, arms down by our side, palms facing up. Beginning to focus inward. Let's notice any points of tension in the body. I say I'm missing the hot room because I'm not getting that heat to really help my muscles, and I'm feeling the difference doing yoga not in a heated room versus keeping my practice up at home in this very chilly room in my basement. So notice the stiffness. Notice any tension, any discomfort. See where that is. You can be mindful of it through the practice. As you inhale through your nose, fill your lungs up, keeping your belly button into your spine, filling your lungs, inhaling. And then exhale and just push that air all through your body, maybe really focusing on those points of tension, points of discomfort that you've identified. So let's inhale through the nose. Exhale, push all that good air out. Send it through your body. Send it through the places that need it most. Now we focus on ourselves, so let's inhale. And let's exhale and send that good positive energy to anybody taking this video right now. Any of us that are struggling a little bit with isolation, kind of worried about what's going to happen as far as next steps for reopening things. Let's send some good energy to everybody. And now let's inhale. And let's exhale and take it wider. Take it to the families, take it to our first responders, take it to anybody who's, really struggling out there and doesn't have access to this awesome resource. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, let's send some good positive energy out there. Really feeling that positive energy flow out of us. One more big breath in. And let's send it out to everybody. Now, let's inhale and bring our knees up to our chest. Let's take a little rock side to side, massaging that low back. And let's take a happy laughing baby here. We'll either take peace fingers to your big toes or grabbing a hold of the soles of your feet. Just feeling that opening in the hips Maybe a little stiff this morning. We'll check in at the end of class to see how we're doing. Let's take our heels all the way up to the sky. Maybe we're grabbing a hold behind our thighs. Maybe we can reach up to our calves. Maybe we can reach up and grab a hold of our toes. Feeling that nice stretch. Let's take our right knee into our chest and take this left heel all the way down to the mat. Inhaling as we pull our knee up and around our chest, compressing the right side body, the ascending colon. We're going to let this right foot just kind of relax a little bit. Maybe we take some ankle circles one way and then the other. Inhaling and pulling that knee into our chest. And now let's take this right ankle. We're going to bend our left knee. We're going to take our right ankle to our right knee. We're going to reach through, grabbing a hold of our left side, pulling our left knee towards our face, feeling that stretch in the right hip. Maybe we extend our left heel to the sky, feeling that stretch as well. And now let's bring that left heel down. Arms down by our side. We're going to ground through this left heel and peel our hip up off the mat. Exhaling as we come down. Inhale to lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Let's take one more. Inhale to rise. Exhale, release. Let's take our arms out to a capital T. We're going to bring our right foot to the mat for this twist. Options here maybe to take eagle legs if you want a little bit extra. Working on one day, someday, getting both shoulders on the ground, and as well as getting these knees onto the ground. But this twist feels good pretty much no matter what you do. So as long as the twist is feeling like it's working for you, then it's working for me. Inhaling. Exhaling, twisting deeper. Let's bring these knees back to center, hugging both knees into our chest. Yes. All right, let's take both heels up to the sky again. Maybe we're reaching behind our thighs, maybe our calves, maybe we're reaching up and grabbing a hold of our toes, feeling that gorgeous stretch up the backs of the legs. Now let's hug this left knee into the chest as the right heel descends down to the mat. Hugging this left knee up and around the rib cage. Compressing the left side body, the descending colon, the internal organs on this side. We're going to let this left heel go as we maybe work it one way and then the other. Hugging that knee in. And now let's take this left ankle onto the right knee, planting our right foot. We're going to reach through, grab a hold of that right thigh, pulling our right knee towards our face, feeling that stretch up the left hip. Maybe you like this. Maybe you want a little extra in the right leg by lifting that right heel. Whatever feels best to you this morning. I'm actually quite enjoying this stretch in my hip. So I think I'm going to keep it right here. And now let's release down. Arms down by our sides, preparing for this bridge. We're going to ground through this right heel, lifting our hips up off the mat. Exhale down. Inhale to rise. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Two more. Inhale, lift high. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down, taking our arms out to that capital T. And we're going to take this left foot down to the mat, taking this twist, maybe gazing over the left shoulder. Again, if you want a little bit more, we can take those eagle legs. Working on getting both shoulders to the mat, working on getting the knees to the mat. But most importantly, just enjoying this moment. Enjoying whatever your body can do right now. Breathing into this twist. Taking deep breaths in through the nose And then exhaling, those knees getting closer and closer to the mat, or maybe that shoulder getting closer and closer to the mat, just feeling this twist in opposite directions. And up. Let's hug both knees into the chest, and we're going to rock and roll the length of our spine. Taking maybe 3 to 4 rocks before we cross our ankles and roll over into our tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Standing up for our cat-cow. Inhale, eyes and tailbone to the sky, hammocking the belly. Look up, big breath in. Exhale, belly button into spine, arching the back. Inhaling. Exhale. Breath in. Breath out. Now let's take any intuitive movements that feel good to you this morning. Working out any last kinks that you might feel. Or just getting in touch to where those kinks are so you can be mindful of it through your practice today. Knowing where maybe you want to push a little harder or where you want to back up a little. Coming back to our neutral spine, let's send our left heel back and our right arm forward. We're going to make sure it's easy for us to roll our hip up. So we want our left hip rolled down. And think about how it is when you're in your high plank and you want this sort of crunch happening. Your lowest rib and your pelvic bones are crunching in, holding it here, and then we'll bring it down. Other side, right leg extends, left arm out, rolling that right hip down, making sure we are kind of hugging in, and then bring it down. Right arm, left leg. Let's take that elbow to knee and extend and bring it down. Right leg, left arm, elbow to knee and extend and bring it down. Opposite side, left leg, right arm. Let's take that elbow to knee. Let's extend. Let's bring that right arm down. Let's take our left foot across, tapping it behind and lifting it up. And now let's bring that left leg over to the left and tap and bring it up and down. Opposite side, right leg, right arm. Let's take that crunch, extend, bring that left hand down, taking the right foot over to the left and back to center and over to the right and back to center. Bring it down. Left leg, right arm. Crunch, extend, let's take it over to the right, back to center, over to the left, back to center. Can you reach back, grab a hold of that cat heel, feeling that back bend, and back to center, and release. Opposite side, right foot, left arm, take the crunch, extend, left hand down as we take the right foot over to the left, back to center, tap it over to the right, back to center, and now can we take this cattail, taking this early back bend, and bring it downward back in our tabletop. Let's pop our toes, step back, just kind of push back, feeling that stretch up the Achilles, stretching the feet, and we'll come up. And now on the tops of our feet, knees together. Let's lift in your knees, feeling that stretch maybe in the feet. The stretch of the tops of the feet is an odd place. Who could ever figure out how to stretch it? Well, here's one way. Hands to heart center maybe, and then back to our tabletop. Let's pop our toes. Send our hips high for our downward facing dog. Feet are hips width distance. Working on getting the heels down towards the ground, but it's really not necessary. That's just a goal. Inhale, exhale,
Filling up. Empty. Big breath in. Release. Let's walk our feet to our hands. Tiptoeing, tiptoeing, tiptoeing. Meeting in that forward fold. Halfway lift, hands to shins, perhaps flat back is the most important. Exhale, fold. Arms up overhead, rising up, extended mountain pose. Hands coming to heart center. Gently close your eyes. And let's set our intention for our practice today. What do you want to usher in to your life today? What negativity do we need to usher out? Focusing on that intention, let's inhale, arms up, extended mountain pose. Cactusing your arms, taking a back bend, looking back, going back. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Stepping back to our high plank. Modifying on our knees if we need to, holding here in this high plank. Pushing back to our downward facing dog, checking our alignment. And now inhaling back to our high plank and lowering all the way down to our bellies. Setting up for cobra, tops of the feet on the mat, wrists under our hands, under our shoulders, chin on the mat. Little to no weight in the hands, the core working here to lift your shoulders off the mat. Exhale down. We'll place a little bit more weight in the hands as we inhale and lift. Exhale down. Big breath in as we inhale, a little more weight in the hands. Exhale, release. And now let's all take an upward facing dog. Inhale to rise. Exhale, belly button into spine as we roll over those toes back to our downward facing dog. Belly button in, filling the lungs full of air. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Filling up. Empty. Big breath in. Release. Walking our feet to our hands, meeting in that forward fold. Let's take a ragdoll, grabbing opposite hand to opposite elbow, swaying side to side. Maybe we take clasping our hands and placing them on the nape of our neck, really pulling our head down, feeling that extra stretch up the legs when we do this simple movement. And now releasing those fingertips. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rising up on that end leg all the way up. Extended mountain pose. Cactus those arms, look back, go back. Reach up on the inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Stepping back, jumping back. Lowering down from chaturanga perhaps on that exhale. Inhaling to rise, upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog on the exhale. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Breath in. Breath out. Walk, step, or jump, feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Rising up, extended mountain pose. Exhale, fall forward, reaching for those toes. Halfway lift, inhale. Stepping back, jumping back, moving through your vinyasa your way. Lowering down on your exhale. Inhaling to rise. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Biggest breath in. Release. Feet to your hands. Walk, step, or jump. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rising up, extended mountain pose. Cactus those arms, look back, go back. Inhale to rise. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Step back, jump back. Let's meet in our downward facing dog, however you would like to get there. Lowering down. Inhaling to rise. Downward facing dog. And we take a breath in. Breath out. Filling up. Empty. Big breath in. Release. Let's take our right heel to the sky. Right heel rises. Bending your knee, opening up your hip. Enjoying this hip opener right here. We can take some hip circles, one way and then the other. Maybe working out that ankle. And now let's bring that right foot to the ground to meet the left. Left heel rises, bending the knee, opening up the hip. Taking those hip circles one way, and then the other. Maybe those ankle circles as well. Bringing that left foot down to meet the right. In our downward facing dog. Let's take a breath in, breath out. Walking, stepping, or jumping our feet to our hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Toes together to touch, heels slightly apart. Sinking our hips as we rise into our Utkatasana chair pose. Our belly button into our spine. Our tailbone is tucking, our pelvis is lifting. Sinking our hips. Weight is in our heels. We can just lift our toes up off the mat, reaching up towards the sky. Inhaling, exhaling, sinking a little lower. Inhaling, reaching higher. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Step back, jump back, moving through your vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. Right leg rises, stepping it forward on a big inhale, rising up, warrior one. We have a 90-degree bend in our right knee. The knee is directly over our ankle. Too far forward, we do damage. Too far back, we don't get the benefit. So right over that ankle is the sweet spot. Our left foot sitting down at a 45-degree angle. Our left hip moving forward as our right hip moves back. Sinking in to this stance. Arms up, overhead, fingers together, no lonely thumbs. Breathing. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, taking it to the mat, moving through your vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. And as soon as we get to our downward facing dog, our left heel rises and we bring it forward for warrior one on the left. That right heel spins down at a 45-degree angle. Inhaling as we rise, checking in with our alignment, bringing this right hip forward, left hip back. That's an inner rotation of the right thigh to get that hip to come around. Left knee directly over the ankle. And tracking towards the baby toe. So you just peek down, you can see that big toe. Arms up overhead. And breathe in and out through your nose, keeping that Ujjayi breath. Breath in as you reach up. Exhaling through the nose as you go down to the mat, moving through your vinyasa. Maybe you're lifting that left leg as you come down. Chaturanga, inhale, upward facing downward cobra, downward facing dog, and we take a big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Filling up. Empty. Feet to your hands. Walk, step, or jump. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Toes together to touch, heels slightly apart. Sinking those hips and rising. Utkatasana, reaching up. We're going to exhale, take our chest to thigh, those arms behind us. Inhale, lift. Exhale, chest to thigh. Inhale, rise. Exhale, take that chest to thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold, reaching for those toes. Halfway lift, inhale. Step back, jump back. Move through your vinyasa. Meet me in downward facing dog. Using the breath to move you through these poses. And as soon as we're in downward facing dog, right heel rises. Coming forward. Warrior one. One breath in, reach up. Exhale to the mat. Move through your flow. Using your breath to move you. Left heel rises, swinging it forward. Warrior one, rising up. Inhale, exhale, take it to the mat. Pushing back to downward facing dog. We breathe in and out. Inhale, exhale. Breath in, breath out. Walking our feet, our hands. Halfway lift and fold. Rising up, extended mountain pose. Exhale, folding forward. Halfway lift, toes together to touch, heels slightly apart. Making our hips as we rise into our Utkatasana, preparing for our prayer twist. We take our hands to our heart center, keeping our knees in line. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, elbow to right knee, twisting from the torso, not the hips. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, take the twist. Enjoying this twist, using the breath to get deeper and deeper into the twist, pulling that right shoulder behind you, working on getting those hands back to heart center. If side crow is in your practice, this is your opportunity. Making that little shelf with your chaturanga arms, leaning in to this as we take our side crow. Wherever you are, we will meet back in that prayer twist just for a moment before we exhale. Fold forward, taking those peace fingers, grabbing a hold of our big toes as we pull our head down to the mat. Biceps are bulging as you pull your head down. This is a moment to rest and take a breath. Those twists can be kind of intense, but this is also a dynamic stretch. So we're really pulling, feeling that stretch all the way up the backs of the legs, maybe even in the low back as you pull your head down. And now let's release our toes together to touch, heels slightly apart, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising into our Utkatasana. Hands coming to heart center. Right elbow, left knee this time, keeping the knees in line. This is the most important part. I would rather, you just twist from the torso here if this isn't working and you're finding your knees getting way out of line. This is bad for the hips and alignment and stuff. So keeping your knees in line, right elbow, left knee, twist. Hanging out here, enjoying this twist. Honestly, this is the harder pose to hold if you're working on your side crow. Coming into that now. And meeting back in our prayer twist just for a moment. Before we exhale, fold forward, taking our gorilla pose. Stepping on our hands, tickling our wrist creases with our toes as we pull our head down towards the mat. Bending our elbows back towards our shins. Again, feeling that amazing stretch up the backs of the legs, maybe even to the low back. The harder you pull, the more stretch you feel all the way up the back. So really feel focus on pulling that head down towards the mat, towards your shins, as much as you can. And let's release those toes. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Rising up, extended mountain pose. Let's take that back bend cactus, the arms look back, go back. Inhale to rise. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Stepping back, jumping back, moving through your vinyasa till you get to your downward facing dog. From our downward facing dog, we're going to lift our right heel to the sky. And we're going to bring our right knee to our right elbow and extend. Right knee to our nose and extend. Right knee to our left elbow, hold it here, extending the right leg out, opening up to that falling star. And then left hand returns to the mat, sending that right leg up, In our three-legged dog, bending your knee, opening up your hip, hanging out here, or perhaps flipping your dog. Option for an early wheel here. And then returning to our three-legged dog, our right foot returns to the mat. Left heel rises, bringing our left knee to our left elbow, and take it back. Left knee to nose, take it back. Left knee to right elbow, hold, extend that right leg out, opening up to that fallen star, and bringing it back to our three-legged dog, bending the knee and opening up the hip, taking that flip dog if that's in your practice. Returning to our three-legged dog. That left foot returns to the earth. Inhale, exhale, filling up, empty, big breath in, release. Let's walk our feet to our hands, but walk our feet on the outside of your hands, setting up for our Malasana yogi squat. So our heels are in, our toes are out. Play with the distance between your feet. Typically, it's about the width of the short side of your mat, right? Sometimes heels on the mat, toes off the mat, whatever is comfortable for you, so you can get in the super comfy hip opener here. Hands into heart center help work as a tool to push your knees open. So pushing hand into hand. Now this is where we typically can take our crow. If you're working on that arm balance, you absolutely can come into that now. I'll walk you through that in just a moment. If you're enjoying this hip opener, hang out here. I always like to kind of flow with it, maybe placing that left arm down, sitting that right arm up. You can even take that behind you for a half bind, maybe even going for the full bind. You can kind of play with this flow with your breath. If crow is something that you're interested in, it's one of the first arm balances that we kind of all learn. But from here in our Malasana, we place our palms on the mat, and a lot of this is making these chaturanga arms. So we're making this shelf with our forearms. And we're pitching forward. We're bringing our knees really high up into our armpits and leaning forward. And then we play with balance, lifting one toe, maybe the other toe, until we lift both. And then we just hang out. If crow is in your practice and you have a pretty strong one, and you're working on your jump back to chaturanga, inner crow, and we put our feet back, inhaling, upward facing dog, back to our downward facing dog, and then let's rock back, everybody meeting in crow, in Malasana. And now let's place our hands on the mat, sending our hips up to the sky, toe-heeling our feet together in this forward fold. Halfway lift, fold, rising up, extending mountain pose, reaching up, filling our body full of air, and then exhaling as we reach towards our toes. Halfway lift, inhale, stepping back, jumping back, moving through your Vinyasa. Lowering down on the exhale, inhaling to rise, downward facing dog. Let's take a breath in, breath out. We'll bring our right heel to the sky and bring it forward for crescent lunge. Up on the ball mount of our left foot, inhaling as we rise. Let's take our chest to thigh, exhaling. Sending those arms back. Inhale to rise. And exhaling, taking that chest to thigh. Inhale to rise. Exhale, chest to thigh. And then we're going to open up to warrior two. Flipping that right palm, sitting up to the sky for our reversed warrior. Taking this right elbow to our right knee for our extended side angle. Reaching that left fingertip to the front of our mat. Working on opening the chest on the exhales. Inhaling and reaching, exhaling and opening. Option here for a full bind or half bind. Maybe you are practicing your bird of paradise. Birdies, come on down. We'll meet back in that extended side angle. Let's reverse so let's open up to warrior two, and then reverse that warrior. And then send those arms down to the mat, moving through your vinyasa, meeting in our downward facing dog. Once in our downward facing dog, let's take one breath in, breath out, lifting our heel, sitting that left foot forward, crescent lunge, arms up overhead, taking that chest to thigh as we inhale, or exhale, sorry, inhale into rise, exhale chest to thigh, inhale to rise, exhale chest to thigh, inhale to rise, one more, exhale, fold, inhale as we come into our warrior two. And now from here, let's turn around so we'll flip our palm, reverse our warrior, then left elbow, left knee for our extended side angle, reaching this right hand towards the front of our mat. Reaching on the inhale, exhaling to open. Maybe we're taking that half bind, that full bind. Working on that bird of paradise on this side. Being mindful that one side is often better than the other. Not just because that's why we need yoga, meeting in our extended side angle. Let's come up to our warrior two. Reversing our warrior. And then cartwheeling your hands to the mat. Moving through your vinyasa, meeting in your downward facing dog, however you'd like to get there. We come to yoga every day to work back towards that symmetry. So that one side isn't easier than the other. So that we are balanced. But it's a process, it's a practice. That's why we call it a practice. So now we're in our downward facing dog. Take a breath in, breath out. Inhale, exhale, filling up, empty. Walk your feet to your hands, meeting in that forward fold. Halfway lift, fold. Rising up, extended mountain pose, reaching those fingertips up to the sky. And let's take eagle on the right. So we're bringing our right arm under, swing in under. Rounding through the left leg, bringing our right leg over. Working on getting that toe wrapped around the calf. This left foot, we're balancing through the four corners of the feet, meaning that that big toe mound is pressing into the mat. I have a tendency, I think a lot of people do, sort of try to roll our foot towards the outside. We want to roll it in, and that might make us wobble a little more in the beginning while we're getting used to it, but it's better balance. So we have our right arm under. If this crisscross thing is not working for us, we can take our genie arms or our butterfly hug. Taking your option, taking in, and now let's extend out of this, arms up overhead. Left side, left arm under, left leg over. Looking into that standing leg. Finding your drishti. Breathing. And let's release. Adding on to it this time, right arm under. Right leg over. Our elbows are up at shoulder height. Inhale. Exhale, taking our elbows to our knees. We're going to extend our right leg behind us. We're in a bound warrior 3, our right hip rolling down towards the mat. Opening up our arms, Vinyasa airplane. Now we're going to take this dive down, sending that right leg up. Option to practice some handstand preps, or maybe you want to practice balance in this standing split, where we're grabbing a hold of our ankle with both hands, one at a time. And then let's release out, having our foot come down to meet the left foot. We're in our forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rising up, mountain pose, extended mountain pose. We're reaching up. Taking that left arm under, left leg over. Sinking into that standing leg, elbows up to shoulder height. Inhale. Exhale, taking those elbows to your knee. Unraveling that top leg, sending it back, rolling that left hip down, opening up Vinyasa, and then taking this dive down into our standing split. Option to work on those handstand preps here, or maybe work on that balance, grabbing a hold of your right ankle with one hand, then the other. And now releasing fingertips to the mat. The left foot comes down to meet the right. We're in our forward fold. Halfway lift. Fold. Inhale, rising up. Arms down to Tadasana. We'll take our standing leg raise. Grounding through our left foot. Our right knee rises. Right hand to our right knee. Left hand to our hip. Inhale. Lift. Maybe we're taking that right leg out to the side. Maybe we want a little extra. We can reach down, grab a hold of that big toe, extending that out, and opening up that left hand off the hip, gazing over to the left. Taking your option and hugging in to hold up, making sure we're breathing. Tendency to hold breath in balance poses, not necessary. We need the breath. Let's bring it back to center and down. Left side, rounding through that right foot. We lift our left knee, grabbing a hold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, opening up. Taking your option here. That right hand off the hip, perhaps. Gazing over to the right. Breathing. Trying to maintain that Ujjayi breath. Going back to your intention you set at the beginning of practice, as needed. All right, now let's bring it back to center and down. Pick our tree pose next. Any tree that you like. If Hatha tree is where it's at for you this morning, you can absolutely take that. We're going to ground through our left heel, picking where your tree is today. We could be kickstanding here in our ankle, up on our calf, or up on our thigh. Take your option. Actually, I'm going to show you some different hands. We can send our palms to the sky. We could take reverse prayer hands. We could take these hands to the nape of our neck. Maybe we take these cow face arms. Right? Any option of hands that works for you this morning. Trying something new. Maybe if we have our palms up to the sky, we can challenge ourselves a little bit and lean over to the right. And then back over. Be kind of a palm tree here, in the breeze. Imagining all the amazing, wonderful, warm places we might be able to go when this is all over. And let's bring it down. Opposite side. Grounding through that right foot. Picking your tree for the moment. Kickstanding. Calf. Thigh. Starting with hands at heart center, perhaps. Hands at heart center is always a tool. Pushing hand into hand helps with that balance, but remember this balance is really coming from the core, so this belly button in. Tailbone is descending as your pelvis lifts. Feel that lift. And now when you're ready, as you're ready, we can take our hands somewhere new, right? Any kind of option. Maybe we're liking this shoulder kind of rinse that we're feeling with our palms facing the sky. And then we can practice leaning over to one side, leaning over to the other. And then let's bring it down. Beautiful, you guys. Arms up overhead. Inhale. Let's take a back bend. Let's bring our hands to our sacrum. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, looking back, going back. And let's fold forward. Halfway lift. Fold. Let's reach up again, extended mountain pose. And let's bring our arms out in front of us. We're going to kind of like the awkward pose in Hatha. Actually, it's basically what we're going to do, but we're going to come all the way down, setting up for our camel. Just follow me on this one. So we've got our arms out in front of us, our shoulders are into their sockets, shoulder blades in towards your spine, feet about hips distance apart. And we are going to lower, we're going to come up onto our toesies, lowering down, sliding down that back wall. Can you go all the way down? And our knees land. And then we're ready for camel. Hands on your sacrum, popping your toes perhaps. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, looking back, going back, starting to arch back. If you're seeing the back wall behind you, you may be ready to reach down, grabbing a hold of your heels. If you have your heels, your thumbs are inside, your thumbs are in, the rest of your fingers are on the outside of your feet. Pushing those thumbs, you can feel the chest opening and then releasing back, pelvis forward, breathing, and releasing out, sinking back, boots turn on your heels, closing your eyes for a moment, taking a few deep breaths. Camel swirls up all kinds of nonsense within us. Let's let it go and let it out. And let's do one more. Coming up to standing on our knees, tapping our toes, hands starting at our sacrum. Inhale, lift. Exhale, start to arch back, look back, taking this insane back bend as we look back. Maybe we're reaching down and grabbing a hold of our heels, thumbs in, pushing those heels away, breathing. And then slowly release out, sinking your hips down to your heels, hands on your sides. Gently close your eyes and breathe. We went one way with our spine. Let's go the other way. Let's bring our heels slightly on the outside of our hips here. Taking our little Lego man C-shaped hands, we're going to slip those into our back pockets, grabbing hold of our heels. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, bringing the top of your head to the mat, your forehead to your knees. Inhale, exhaling down. Hips coming up off of your heels, rounding your spine. And release. We're going to take a little moment for an inversion of your choice. And I'll take these up from easy to more complicated. If you have a block, You could place the block underneath your sacrum, rolling over onto this block, sending your legs up for a waterfall pose. If you don't have a block, you can honestly do the same, or maybe even just a pillow, anything to kind of lift your hips up. Or you could take this legs up the wall, right? You can sit your hip next to the wall, sitting your legs up the wall. If shoulder stand is in your practice, you can absolutely take shoulder stand. If you're working on headstand or any other kind of inversion, a forearm stand, handstand, any of those things, you can take that now. I'll walk us through a shoulder stand. So we're rolling on our backs. We're going to push up, sending our legs up. Hands at our sacrum. Bending our feet up. Taking several breaths here in the shoulder stand. Now let's take this shoulder stand down to plow, bring those toes behind us, down onto the mat. Maybe we can take a deaf man's pose, bringing our knees to our ears. Or, super fun, bending our knees into our unicorn, our knees on our forehead here. Bring it back up to shoulder stand, slowly rolling down. Everybody, no matter where you are, headstands, handstands, forearm stands, take a moment in child's pose. Waterfall, remove the block or the pillow, rolling out onto your back. Taking a moment in this child's pose or early shavasana to just take a breath. And now everyone meet us in this little early shavasana. We're going to set up for our fish pose. So we're going to bring our fingertips close to our hips. We're sort of our sacrum is on our fingertips. And then we're going to gaze back. And we're going to take that fun lion's breath. This is the breath that a lot of times people don't like to do in class because it's kind of silly. But now no one can see you. So make this the wildest, craziest lion's breath of all time. We're going to take a big breath in. And as we exhale, we stick our tongue out, open our mouth, and just sigh it out. Ready? Inhale. Exhale, lion's breath. Let's do two more. Lion's breath. One more. Awesome. Rolling on our backs, hugging our knees into our chest. Let's rock and roll up to a seated position. And we're going to take our frog pose today. Again, if you have a block, frog is kind of nice to have a block. You don't need one now. What we're doing with our legs is we're coming into this sort of wide-legged stance. Our ankle is directly below our knee, and we're flexing our foot, so we kind of have these frog legs. Huge, massive hip opener here. The block is just sort of helpful as something to hold on to and rest your head on. We hold this frog for several breaths, and it's not the most awesome all the time, but it does feel kind of good. But what we're thinking about doing is really using our arms here to push our hips down, back behind us, really pushing our hips back. Lean forward a little bit, maybe even inhaling as we come forward, and then exhaling, pushing back a little bit deeper. But we really want to make sure that we are feeling that stretch in the hips. So hold here for several breaths, making sure our feet are flexed, that we've got those frog legs. Be mindful that hip openers can bring up a lot of thoughts. especially this one. There's some discomfort in the pose, and so that can bring up a lot of negativity, judgment, or anything like that. And also, the hips is where we store a lot of emotional baggage. That stuff can start swirling up about now. All of that is nonsense and lies and unnecessary and not needed. So just let it go. Right now, you're doing an amazing thing for your body. So keep that positive vibe going. Breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your nose. Just like we did in the beginning of class, inhaling, filling yourself full of air. Exhaling, sending that breath to any points of tension. Breath in, breath out. Inhale. Send some positive vibes to everybody else doing frog pose right now who's maybe not having a good time. Exhale all that positive energy out. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale. Hanging those hips back. And now let's release out of this. We just pull ourselves forward, sending our legs back behind us. Shaking on our legs a little bit. And now we're going to come up to a seated position, preparing for our final stretching. Legs out in front of us for our seated forward fold. Inhale, arms up. We've got our peace fingers identified, and we're going to reach forward and grab a hold of our big toes, keeping a flat back here. Right now, I am feeling this amazing stretch all the way up my legs and even into my low back. Bending those elbows down towards the shins, keeping that flat back, bringing your eyebrows towards your toes. Holding on here as you release and relax. Inhale, rise up. Now let's send our arms up overhead, and this time we're just going to fold over our legs. Another option for the block maybe is to bring that block to your feet, reaching to grab hold of that block. Inhale, rising up. Vinyasa, forehead to knee pose. So we're bringing our left foot into our right thigh. We're making a basket grip for our toes, wrapping that basket grip around our toes and then bringing our forehead to our knee, however it needs to get there. We may have to bend our knee a lot, and that is fine. This is full expression of the pose. And the more and more you hit the room, the yoga room, hit your mat, the more able you will be to extend that knee out or that leg out if you so choose. Inhale and rise up. Let's take this right foot in, left foot out, basket grip, hooking around those toes, taking your expression of forehead to knee pose, making the forehead to knee happen, most important part of this pose. And release. Extending those legs out in front of you, rolling down onto your back, setting up for your final resting pose. Shavasana. Arms down by your side, feet splaying open, gently closing your eyes. Taking as much time as you need in this Shavasana. This is your moment. Take what you need. Get rid of what is not serving you. Breathing in all that positive energy, and then sending all that loving kindness out to the world. Thank you for joining me today. The light in me sees and recognizes the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.